Karcher, I promise you this was not part of the plan to offer a entry-level pressure washer. Never even crossed my mind when I decided to buy 60 of them and test them. And you'll notice over there I got 2 more Sunjos to test the Pro Series, so people can get off my back. I still have probably 15 more pressure washers to buy to test. Once I do that, then I'll release the spreadsheet on my site and try to copyright it so people can't copy it. I just put too much work into this stuff. So, Karcher K 1700, out of all those pressure washers, this was the one. While I'm assembling this here, I explain why and how and how you can get it and the whole reasoning behind this stuff. So we have 2 versions of this. I've already unboxed it. I got impatient waiting for Bryce to grab the camera. But you can see I've got a pallet of 1700s, which I'm assuming is going to not last very long. We'll have to keep ordering them. I just don't have anywhere to put them. That's the problem. And then I've got K 1700 cubes, and there's some magical Krenzels there behind me as well. I got to figure out where to put. I normally drop ship Krenzels, but I wanted some here so that we constantly get people coming here wanting to pick it up. So anyway, we have them, and I'm going to sell them. I'm shocked myself that I chose to do this. So don't hold it against me. I think these are worthy, is why I chose to do this. So anyway, let's put this thing together. Tell you what the deal is here, and then how we're setting it up, and then I'll go grab all the gear that we need to make it work as best as possible. So power cord, I want to say it's 35 feet long. Long enough, let's just say. And then one thing you want to do, which I just did, I was yelling at Bryce here trying to find the garden hose connection, but in the very bottom here there's another little kit. All this other stuff just comes in the box and just with some cellophane on it, so you just pull it out and get it, set it on the table and get it ready to install. So the first thing you'll do, which I think makes sense, never read the instructions, just do what I tell you. There's a little nylon washer. Little nylon washer goes on the back. Take our wheel. I guess I should turn it around so you can see. Take our wheel. Take our little cotter pin. Pop it in place. Good to go. So another really nice thing about this specific pressure washer over some of the other cheapies was it's just built better. The quality is a little bit different. I mean, it's not of high quality. I can tell you that right now. It's 100 and whatever this thing is, depending on the day when you're watching this video. It's let's just say $150 pressure washer. So this is not a Krenzla. This is not a professional grade product. This is not even as good as, say, the Comet. This is designed to be a buy it, use it for a while, and get another one, upgrade at some point. But the really nice thing about this, I haven't done any prep work. This is all it takes to put it together when you open it up out of the box. Sorry, we always have packing and shipping going on behind us. It's the soundtrack of Obsessed Garage these days. Okay. And we have this where if you wanted to lighten this up, you could pull both of these off. I think it looks a little weird. It's probably nice to have this little compartment thing here. But you can see that's about the extent of the pressure washer. That's the extent of assembly. So it comes with a hose, which is garbage, and it comes with a gun, which is even more garbage. I mean, I guess you could buy it and rough it for a little while and use this setup. This is an M22. They put an insert on here to make it 14 millimeter. One of the main reasons why I chose this over some of the other pressure washers is it uses standard fittings. When we're talking about $150, under $200, when you need 2 or 3 or 4 specialty extra fittings, I mean, that adds up. So why not get one that has standard fittings? So that was the first reason why I like this machine the most. It also provides you, or they provide you, with a garden hose connection. Now this isn't great, but it works, and it's much, much better than oops, that's the outlet, than many of the other options. So what you're going to want to do with this connection here, and I'll show you in a minute, but you're going to want to really torque this down with a plug to make it a quick disconnect. But this fitting here, I think is BSPP, and so this is a BSPP to garden hose GHT thread connection. And then it comes with a bunch of other stuff that you don't need, but it comes with a turbo nozzle. I guess I should open it up for you. It comes with a turbo nozzle, comes with a 15-degree nozzle, which we're not going to use in most cases. You're only going to use it if you buy this standalone. A turbo nozzle for cleaning off the deck, which again, lots of people have this dream that you're going to use your electric pressure washer to clean off your deck and clean the algae off of the driveway. You can, but you're going to be there for the rest of your life. So I would suggest getting a gas one if you're going to do those tasks. Use this for washing your car. Because you're just not getting enough flow, enough output to really accomplish a whole heck of a lot. Again, you can certainly do it. That's where having a longer wand makes sense. You know, you have this longer connection where you can hit the sidewalk or the side of your house. But again, I know that's what these are marketed toward, but it's just you're going to be there all day, getting very little done. I think you're gonna want like a 2,000 or 3,000 PSI gas pressure washer in order to accomplish that. Okay, so there's our basic setup. Comes with the wand gun, comes with a hose, a 25-foot really crappy hose, and comes with these 3 connections as well as our adapter for the garden hose connection. And then of course you have a manual. So one of the reasons why I chose to offer this is insane, but this thing has a 3-year parts and labor warranty. And what you do is they get this card, put this card in a folder somewhere. You can always just go back to my store and look at where the 800 number is, but you call this 800 number, Karcher Customer Support. And if you have any kind of warranty claim, so you want to either keep the receipt or email me when you need the receipt, but this sucker is basically 3 years parts and labor direct replacement. So you call them, you have an issue, they're going to require you to take a picture or make a little video, send it to them, show them what it's doing, and they send you a new one. So don't call me because I'm not sending you a new one, call them and they'll send you a new one, which is pretty darn amazing. And the warranty is not transferable, so you can't like sell it and give the warranty to somebody else, but it's a 3-year basically full coverage warranty where they just direct replace it. And I don't even think they require you to send it back. I think in certain instances they'll send a return label so they can do research on it, but generally you just get a new one, which is pretty amazing. So I don't know, some of you that won't mind using an entry-level machine, you can probably use this for years and years and years and buy a new one every 3 years, probably more like every 5 years, and you just keep them running if you have any issue with them, as long as you're not using it commercially, you're using it in your garage at your house, then you shouldn't have any issues with a warranty on something like this. So let me go grab all the gear and we'll get this set up and I'll show you how I would suggest using this. And again, I'm going to offer this as a full package with everything that we need. So I'm going to set this stuff aside, grab the gear and get it all set up. All right, so there are 1,000 options that we could put together for this thing, and I can do whatever you want. So we can build this out however necessary, but I want to make some basic options where you can buy the unit by itself, you can buy as inexpensive as I'm willing to put together option, or we'll have the ultimate, just the best of the best to make this machine as good as possible. And then the beauty of a lot of these accessory parts is that we can use them in whatever pressure washer you want in the future. So if you get something more expensive, more specific, if you get a Krenzla, we could adapt a lot of this stuff to the new version. So the first option you're going to have in the drop down is you're going to have an option of the inlet hose length. So here's what a standard 6.5-foot hose looks like. This is going to go from your hose bib to the inlet, the side of the pressure washer here. It's going to go to the side, and we're going to quick disconnect all of these things. So this end will go and connect to your hose bib, and then this end, I'll show you in a second, will connect to the side of the pressure washer. So you'll have an option of 6.5 feet, 12 feet, 20 feet. That'll be in the drop down. If you need something longer, I have 35 feet, 50 feet, 75 feet, 100 feet. We can put on a garden hose reel. So there's some other options we can do, but in the standard packages, we're going to stick with 6.5, 12, and 20. So that's our inlet. So that's what goes from hose bib to get the water to the pressure washer. The pressure washer comes, as I showed you earlier, comes standard with this fitting. So on the inlet hose, these are not going to be taped. They're not going to be torqued. You don't really need tape on these generally unless you have some leaks, but these are going to come loose like you're looking at here. And so what you'll have is the inlet to the pressure washer. You'll have this garden hose type fitting, this conversion fitting. Now there's an O-ring here, but I would suggest, and you're gonna have to play with this, but I would suggest taping this, and then if you have a vise, even better, stick this in a vise. If not, and I'll just grab a couple of channel locks and show you here. I would grab a couple of channel locks, because this is a potential leak point. So I'm gonna take, and I'm gonna lock my channel locks on here. And now I don't want to beat this up too badly because this is softer plastic. So I'm going to do most of my torquing here. I'm going to take my channel locks, I'm going to lock it in place, and I'm going to torque this down. And you want to give, I'm not going to do it because actually, let's just do it. So if you find that when you torque this, if you find that there's leaking still, then tape it. But this is one of the weak points of all these inexpensive pressure washers. They just don't have a really stout inlet connection, and maybe someday I'll find a metal one. I found them, but not in quantity, and so this one is metal. It's a lot nicer than the ones that come on some of the other pressure washers, but this is one of those things you're gonna have to chase a little bit. Now, no, it doesn't matter how much money you spend on a pressure washer, you're always going to be chasing leaks. It's part of the game. You got water under 80 to 100 psi coming in, you got water at 1,000, 1,500 psi coming out. So you're always going to have to deal with chasing and making sure that you're tight. You also have an issue if you have leaks where the thing will surge. It won't turn off like it should. So keep that in mind as you're panicking. Go watch me and Chris doing the Jay Leno cart. I've done hundreds of these and put hundreds of these together, and there's still every single time there's something else I encounter. So just prepare yourself for some work. You're going to have to do a little bit of work. So before you panic and call me immediately, just work. You got to work for it. I'm getting you 98% of the way there. You're going to need to do a little bit of extra effort to get this thing to set up and not leak. Okay. Any pressure washer, not just the inexpensive one. So that's our inlet side. You'll have your options. You're going to get two couplers, 2 plugs that come in the kit. Now on the outlet side, we'll just send this with this is an M22. This is a zinc plated brass. No one makes at this point, the time I'm making this video, April 2nd of 2019, no one makes a stainless version of this. Maybe someday we'll have one. But the outlet side of the pressure washer is gonna go like so. Now, this has an O-ring inside and is hand tightened. This is almost impossible for this to leak. This connection here doesn't need any tape, doesn't need any torque. It just needs to be hand tightened. Done. Really, really solid, really good connection point here. So this is one of the least worried connections. You shouldn't have any leaks here on this type of fitting here, and you should never need to tape it. Okay, so that's our inlet. Now, I'm not going to give you an option here. Again, if you need custom, we can do it, but I'm going to give you a 50-foot hose. So there are 2 ends on this Cobra Jet hose. This is a smooth jacket, or moderately smooth jacket. This is an OG Spec This is a really expensive hose. Shoot, I think the just 50-foot version is like 80 something dollars, and then you've got two $8 couplers on the end of it. But this is a really nice, really expensive hose. Keep in mind, it's a hose. You drag it across the concrete, you're gonna beat it up. It looks beautiful right now, but in 15 minutes of use, it's a hose. You're gonna drag it. I mean, here's my inlet hose here. I've been dragging it across the ground. I haven't even used this one that much. It's a rubber hose. This is what happens. So nothing frustrates me more than when I get the emails from the guys just saying, oh man, I'm so disappointed. My hose is getting all marked up. What do you want me to do? There's no magic in this game. You know, rubber's rubber and concrete is concrete. There's nothing we can do. This is, as far as I've found, this is the best these are the two best hoses on the planet. So unless there's some new technology that I'm not aware of, this is part of the game. So we're gonna send this taped and torqued. If you ever have to replace these, know that this is on here really, really tightly. We put this on tight. This has extremely coarse threads, which make this hose really, really stout. But you have to know that the coarse threads require more torque in order to get this thing set up. A couple of failure points here would be, you know, the hose usually doesn't fail. I mean, all this kind of accessory stuff, and it really doesn't have much of a warranty. I mean, I guess 60 days. So you have to this is wear and tear stuff you have to keep in mind. Although it's great, it's expensive, it's high quality, when you're beating this up on a day-to-day basis or a weekly basis, you're gonna have to work for this. I want it to be magical and beautiful and work forever, but even buying great stuff, expensive stuff, you still have to, you know, it's wear and tear. You still have to replace it periodically. So one failure point could be the bearings of this coupler. I mean, this is an $8 stainless part made in China. Has an O-ring inside, and the O-ring can pop out. So if you ever have any water squirting out the edge, it's generally because you lost your O-ring. And we have these replacements. They're only like 35 cents a piece or something like that. So you can a lot of times replace your O-ring, but these will wear out and need to be replaced at times. You know, so this is a good part to buy extras to have in your cabinet. So that way, the one day where it's important for you to wash your car and your pressure washer fails because your coupler's messed up, just something to consider. So this hose has two ends, and this will solve a couple of problems, especially if we're doing the entry-level package. So this hose comes with the basic and the ultimate package, but one end is swiveling, one end is not. So the way I would set it up, if you do the ultimate package, I'd put the swiveling end here on the pressure washer. You know, nice solid connection. I get some swivel here, and the reason why I would do it, the swiveling end on the pressure washer, is because my Mosmatic gun that we're sending this with is going to have a swiveling end. Sorry, this is my prototype, so I'm cheating here. Prototypes probably won't be available until who knows when. I'm not even going to give you a day because I don't know. So ultimate package, I would put swiveling end on the pressure washer. On the basic package, I'm going to send it with the SGS 28, save some money. This is a $25 gun. This is, SG 28. This is the SG 28. This is the Mosmatic swiveling gun. So no swivel. 25 bucks, 110 bucks. So keep that in mind. This is a way to save some cash in our package. We can save, you know, somewhere around $100 or so by sticking with the basic versus the ultimate. So then we have on the other end is where our gun will go. So again, these are going to come taped and torqued. Our guns are going to come taped and torqued. And I'm telling you, there's lots of people that try to go around and find this for $18 instead of $25. Just pay me the $25. I'm telling you, you're going to be in much better shape. We're going to get you the right fittings, the right connections. There's no reason to dance around to try to save $8 because you're going to end up spending a lot more trying to get the right fittings. Even if you're an expert in this, you'll probably end up buying one or two of the wrong things. and you're going to be down time and energy and usually extra money to do it wrong. So I'm asking for reasonable retail pricing on these things, and I'm saving you the trouble because we're sending them taped and torqued. We generally send them with the flat spots lined up. Just go in that extra step to make sure that it works the best it can, look the best it can, and function well. So our connection is going to look like this, where we have our gun, we have our hose. Again, on this setup with the non-swiveling, I would flip the hose around. So you end up with, because once this is under pressure, this won't spin any longer. And so we end up with, the swivel of the hose. And so you can still have a good, solid user experience without the hose getting all kinked up, because we do have some swiveling ability here. This swivel is nowhere near the quality of this swivel. And, unless you have them back to back, side by side, it's hard to know. But there is a significant user experience. There's a significant difference there between the SG28 and the Mossmatic gun. The trigger is a ball bearing trigger versus a plastic activated trigger. It's just a different class, different precision. Both are good. Both will last quite a while, but know that there is a difference, and there's a reason why one's 110 bucks and one's 75. So 50-foot hose, choice of gun. Both come with the same 20-inch, 20-degree Mossmatic, amazing stainless steel wand, where we have our quick disconnect fitting on the end, so you're able to easily swap from short gun, so short to long, I call it, or wand setup. Okay, so we get that set up properly. Now, this is where the custom part comes in. Again, I bought, tried, tested almost all, at least 65% of the consumer grade pressure washers on the market. And now I'm getting up there in testing of the professional ones. And so I have a specific type of pressure output, flow output that I'm targeting. This thing does, it's rated at 1.2 gallons per minute. It does pretty close to 1.2 gallons per minute with this. What I'm doing is, and it gets close to 1700 PSI with the stock setup. What I'm gonna do is open up the orifice, or open the hole up a little bit, by doing a different size nozzle. So we send these with a 3.0 sized package of nozzles. This includes a 0, 15, 25, and 40-degree nozzle, and we're sending it appropriately sized to wash cars. Now, if you're gonna use this to take care of the house and things like that, you may wanna put this is like a 1.8 or something that it comes with. It says it's an 8.0, but it's clearly not. This is something like a 1.5 or 1.75. It's a really, really small opening, really, really small orifice, in order to squeeze out more pressure. So what we're going to do with a different nozzle, and I recommend using the 40-degree nozzle, what we're gonna do by doing this, either shotgun for doing wheels or up close, or going full wand for doing the top of the car. Sorry, I have the wrong. This is one of my prototypes here. So we would go longer. So we're able to switch back and forth rather easily. So this 40-degree 3.0 nozzle gets us about 1,000 PSI, 950 to 1,000 PSI and then increases our flow. So this brings it up to about 1.45 gallons per minute. I would rather it be 2.45, but we're gonna get what we can get. And on a $150 pressure washer, getting 1.5 gallons per minute is about the most I tested. So it was on the upper range of that. The pump seems a bit more stout. The instant on-off operation is nicer than other pressure washers that I tested. And it's just a little higher quality, plus the warranty is insane. So we're sending it with a 3.0 set of nozzles. If you wanted to dial up the pressure a little bit, you could go down to something like 2.0, or you could use the nozzle that comes with the machine, if you're gonna try to clean your deck or something like that. Again, I don't know that I'd recommend cleaning your deck or your patio or your driveway with an electric pressure washer. You probably want gas for that. The nice thing about all this stuff is you could use all this stuff with a gas pressure washer too. So then the last option is going to be our foam cannon. This is where we send it taped, torqued, with the appropriate orifice nozzle. So we send this with a 1.1 nozzle. I've tested this as well. I've tested both amperage, output, and functionality. The only thing that could really hold you up, if you have really hard water, you may want to use filtered water in your bottle. That could affect the foam output. But if you peg these, this is the original MTM foam cannon. This is the PF22. Again, PF22 comes with the Ultimate. The regular original comes with the basic, so you're talking these $20 difference between the two, so you save another couple of bucks by going to the original. The original foam cannon does great. PF22, you maybe get a little bit better foam. It's just a little nicer design, a little bit more adjustability as well. But this comes set up with the proper orifice inside. So we're sending it pre-installed, pre-taped, pre-torqued, ready for you to connect it directly to your gun without any issue. Because I know a lot of you guys that are buying this entry-level stuff, you may not have the tools needed to assemble all of this stuff. So the only thing you're really going to have to assemble, you're going to have to put the M22 on the inlet. You're going to have to get a couple of wrenches or channel locks to put the what do you call that? The plug on the inlet. So outlet, inlet, and all of this is going to be set up and ready to go for you. So functionally, you're talking about, I connect my hose, I connect my inlet hose to my hose bib and to the inlet of the pressure washer. So there's our inlet, here's our outlet, here's our gun, connects directly up. Here's our wand, so we can have our setup like so. So we have our gun and wand. And then we have the option to switch between short and long gun, and we have the option to add in our foam cannon. Actually, it would be this setup here, our foam cannon, when necessary, when we're foaming the car. So that's our Karcher setup. I hope it makes sense. When we send this to you, I mean, you can come back and revisit this video, or go back and watch the Karcher series where I set up and broke down dozens of pressure washers when I was doing the testing. But again, we're going to get somewhere around 950 to 1,000 psi, somewhere between 1.4 and 1.5 gallons per minute, in a setup that is much, much less costly than a $1,500, $1,600 Krenzla or even a $1,000 Comet setup. Now, not as good, but this would be our entry-level option, and then you end up with a lot of the gear that you could bring along with you as you're upgrading your pressure washer. Again, know all of this stuff is, these are consumable parts that you have to work at to make sure that your things are taped and torqued, and you're gonna have to adjust and make these things function and keep them maintained. But at times you may need to replace a coupler or an O-ring or something like that. But generally speaking, this is the best setup that money can buy attached to your basic pressure washer. So I didn't think I'd be doing something like this. This wasn't part of the plan. I had no intention of selling a Karcher or something entry level like this, but it impressed me so much that I decided to reach out and see if it was reasonable for me to get for you. And I know they probably run these things on Amazon on sale all the time, but I'm not asking a whole lot. I'm not asking a premium for these. I'm just selling them for what their map pricing is, their list pricing is, and we'll continue to support you with all the different parts and pieces. And this thing, I think it's going to do well. On-off operations here. Go back and watch. We'll put a card up here in the upper right showing you where to go and check out the series where we're using these and using them in operation. I don't want to go run water through this because this is a brand new machine. So let's. I guess let's get out. I'm going to unbox the cube. This is the K1700, which has the handle. We'll unbox the cube and we'll wrap up this video. All right, so here's the cube. Unbox is the same, has the same wand, same hose, same accessory pack. Everything's the same on the cube, except for it has a little different soap dispenser and doesn't have any handle, doesn't have wheels. So it's a little less expensive, a few bucks less. But this is a good candidate to mount on a shelf, stick it on a shelf somewhere. We could even set this up where we set up with a Cox hose reel and things like that. If you wanted to build a custom install version with the inexpensive Karcher. But it weighs about 20 pounds. But your setup is going to be identical to the K1700, the cart model, the portable version, where you set up your outlet, you set up your inlet. Same story, we're going to torque down a garden hose plug. You have to be careful with these threads. It's the galvanized type pipe thread, so it's a little grabby. Once you get it started, it's fine. And I'd do the same thing with channel locks here, where I'd grab a bigger set of channel locks or pliers of some sort, and then use it to torque this down, tighten it. So 1700 cube are going to be the same output, same specs, same motor, same everything. What I found in all of my testing, the 1900 and 2000 versions of these pressure washers were a lot more expensive. They actually got a little less flow. So we got less output, less water flow on the more expensive, bigger machines. And so I settled on, why would I spend the extra money? Pump is very similar. It's a little bit bigger, but I was getting slightly more pressure out of those machines, but more flow out of the 1700. So the 1700 just made sense to me for our entry-level option. I felt like it performed the best. And then we were easily able to adapt with standard fittings without any special adapters. And we have a nice setup. So we'll probably start to see some people sharing in the Facebook group their iterations of custom installing this. But this can also be great for mobile. You know, if you like to throw your pressure washer in the trunk or in the back of your SUV or in the back of your truck, this is just easy to grab and go. And then we'll have the same basic and ultimate packages set up for this. So that's our Karcher lineup. There's also, if you already have a Karcher machine, there's also in the Obsessed Garage store, there's many different iterations of these packages that you could buy for your K2, K3, K4, K5, the 17, 18, 19, 2000, the K2000, you could set it up for any of these machines. We have tested and tried out pretty much every pressure washer that I can get my hands on. The Ryobis, the Greenworks, the Sunjos, the AR Blue Cleans, of course the Karchers, where you can put in your model number. You could choose if you wanted a hose, you wanted a gun, you wanted a foam cannon, you wanted an inlet hose. So all these different accessories are all available on obsessedgarage.com. So anyway, this is the Karcher K1700 Cube option that'll be our entry version for the OG store. So thanks for watching. This one, this is one that shocked me, but I think it's a worthy machine if you're just starting out. Thanks for watching. Catch you soon. What happens when the force pulls you back, your foot naturally comes off the gas. You have to keep your foot to the floor, foot to the floor.